All right, welcome to your online lesson HBAR 330. I know that we're going to have a couple of online lessons just because of the Easter week that is coming up ahead. Please also, you know what I'm going to say about the format one. Just please get started on it. You should be started on it a long time ago, but I know that a lot of yous that I've spoken to are kind of only in the really early processes of it. And just so one, obviously, you can finish on time, but the second thing is also you can just check your work with me um, when we do see each other the week before, right? So next week is online as well. Just be noteful of that. And if there are any questions, just in general, just reach out. Okay. So lesson 24 today is continuing with preparing for on air. And we're going to be chatting about predominantly we're going to be chatting about yourself, right? And how important it is for you to understand your own uniqueness in being able to use that as a tool and being able to quote unquote sell it, I suppose, as some kind of commodity at the end of the day, because that's what we said. I've said this often: you are the product, and the product is you in radio. We're also going to be looking at some inspiration from Jay-Z. Yes, yes. Love Jay-Z, but anyway, it's not about me. And then we'll be looking at, yeah, just the uniqueness of radio content, your own radio content, something that we will drill into you over the next couple of weeks as you move on to your or into your journey on air, right? Describe what is unique about yourself and understand the concept of the series of one. At the end of the lesson, there'll be an exercise there. Just put down some thoughts and see what you can apply in the series of one. Understand the requirements of great radio, applying uh, these concepts in order to create content. Just a bit of an exclusion. Just my throat is just all over the place. Might be coughing just here and there. I'm going to try to not as much as possible. Okay, not too. Right. There's my English as well. All right. So why is talent important? Besides the obvious, answer, which is talent obviously gets you further and what it is that you want to do as a career, but recognizing your own talent before someone recognizes it for you is far more important than like I said, the latter, right? If you don't understand what it is that you have raw talent for, and by now, because you are young adults, you probably have applied that talent in some other way. So, for example, you might have been, let's say, because we're talking about like the crafts, right? So, radio as a craft, maybe television as a craft, right? And so on and so forth. You would have probably done, public speaking. You probably were maybe a prefect or SRC. You were in drama. You took some kind of like arts related extracurriculum, and you found yourself, being quite comfortable in in these particular activities, right? And it's not, please don't, like I say, please don't and say, oh, my friends think I'm funny, or I'm like the speaker for my family whenever it is, or I'm the biggest speaker or the loudest person in my family. That doesn't really like consequent, right? It doesn't equal what we're saying over here. We're saying, like, for example, maybe you're in your own community, you might be a church leader, so you lead church groups, or for example, you are a motivational speaker in some other way. Perhaps maybe even you've, like I said, led your own journey and direction into podcasting or broadcasting and enjoy that as well. And received enough, I say, affirmation and validation from people outside your own space. Knowing that you have raw talent is good because you need to obviously be able to hone in on what you have and be able to go and sharpen that at any one given point. Sharpen, polish, upskill, really kind of like really like exponentially blow it out of proportion so that you can make the best of it, right? That doesn't mean if you don't have the raw talent, I suppose, for the hard skills and certain amount of hard skills and soft skills, you can't learn that to obviously make yourself just a better professional at the end of the day. But of course, that's what you're here on earth to learn, right? Is to be a bit more and offer a little bit more to the world around you, right? But right, know yourself before you move forward and apply yourself to places and spaces that you're maybe not supposed to be in, right? So if a radio station doesn't need the best presenters, right? Because you're saying, yeah, can a radio station survive without world-class presenters? They can actually. Only because all the other elements that we did discuss in the previous lecture, right, are more important at the end of the day, even if it's slightly, right, than the presenter themselves, right. That doesn't mean that the presenter is not important. They are the glue that puts everything together. We want to hire a great talent to be able to showcase our product in all its ways, from music, as we said there, the adverts, like the links themselves, the features, the competitions, being able to obviously hold it together between news, sports, etc., whatever it may be, put the show together and present that right. Be the glue, like I said, the center of all of that. We do want obviously like high quality presenters, but the station can do, and we see a lot of stations that definitely are doing just fine with mediocre presenters at the end of the day, right? Um, okay, it isn't all depend on you. At technological advances, sorry, as technological advances offer unprecedented options for entertainment, dominant personalities are even more essential at the end of the day to stand out amongst everything else that we are competing against. So there is definitely the first, one of the many reasons why we still need good presenters, like I say, dominant presenters, presenters that stand out, right? Personalities that have a bit of an X factor to them. If the radio station were a sports car, personalities would be the engine and the program director would be the driver, right? Okay, so we put in the spunk, right? We put in the energy, we put in the actual, like I say, what makes it move. The manager can direct us in any kind of way, right? Turn us left, turn us right, turn us up, down. But think of yourself as the center of that. Think about also I say the supply chain, right? So the command chain and also the process chains in a station. Everything lands up to at the end with the presenter. So, for example, if we look at a sales decision that goes through copy, that goes through production, that goes through traffic control. I'm saying sales traffic control, and then scheduling, obviously, which is what they do. Then goes to, let's say, a live read that you need to go and execute on air, for example, right, and then play out that ad. You are at the end, like you are the one that's going to be responsible for the quality of that particular execution, the delivery of that live read, making sure that the ad is played on time, right? And that you play the whole ad, for example. Everything that could go wrong is on you, and everything that must go right is on you. So the presenter will stand at the end of that quote unquote process line, right? Um, and so we need to know that we are sitting at the heart, I suppose, of the station, right? The engine should be a high performance, fine-tuned machine, and if the engine isn't working, the car is not going to start, right? If you go on air and you're not using the best amount, should I say, of what your capacity is as a talent, right? Not applying those skills to how you execute your on air content, right? Your on air product. And again, with all these moving parts around you, right? Then we're going to be like, well, like anything lower than that becomes a bit of a fail, right? So if you're tired or you're just not interested, you're not invested, you're not focused, you're not prepped, whatever it may be, any one of these and more, so many more, right? Things can affect the way that you will fail. I suppose that like I said, the supply chain, that production chain, that process chain, right? um, and a lot of people that put in a lot of work that depend on you. Never mind in your own station, the listener at the end of the day also suffers, right? if you're not applying yourself and giving everything that you do have for those particular 3 hours that you are on air, 3, 4 hours, doesn't matter, right? Once a week or every day, let's say Monday to Friday, it doesn't matter, right? Giving what you have to give to make that listener or give that listener the best experience that they should have when they turn dial, quote unquote, to use a really old term, right? A phrase, but switch on to your station, right? Tune into your station. Okay, unique shows increase revenue, of course, because the better the show is, the more loyal audiences, the more of a loyal audience we all have, and that means we will place our spots, adverts, promotions, competitions, whatever it may be, and will attract those clients to that particular show because we can see, and they can see also, and we can sell that kind of connection that the show has created, and that little, like I said, that little ecosystem culture that the show is propagating at the end of the day, bring in a lot of money or money just in general, protect the value of the station, and drives incremental value, as I just spoke of. Their unique shows are the reason to listen to any station. Yes, there are certain points in the day and also points in your life and points in your mental state of being, as we have discussed. Nothing is a definitive of a polar opposite, so it's not all or nothing, right? Sometimes we do just want a music show, right? Sometimes we do just want a very generic kind of like, just keep me company, just back and answer songs, just tell me a little bit of what's going on in the world, and just get back to the music because that's what I want. And I consider that if you service me as a listener, like I'm going to be like, that's thank you so much for that. And I will say been a great show. It's been a great experience, right? But predominantly, at the end of the day, because one, it's the right thing to do, and two, you are in a competitive, very highly competitive space, like you need to know that you must work to stand out, not only in your own station, like you're competing against the other jocks at the end of the day in their shows to make sure that, look, you're not the one that's falling behind. You are either on par or at the head of the pack, right in front of the pack, to in comparison with shows like yours is great, right? Well, perhaps maybe the others are second, third, fourth, or fifth place, right? Anyway, we want to stand out. That's the whole point of entertainment, right? We want to keep their attention there, let them have a good experience, right? Unique content affects behavior. It causes surrounding programming to be more successful. So we have obviously flagship shows that we focus on. You know that predominantly, as we've said before, it is the breakfast and the drive show slots that are, uh, again, predominantly propagated, so advertised and as being the biggest shows, the most popular shows. Yes, part of it is just because of, as we said there, like societal nature. So they are driving, they are locked in, it's part of their lifestyle, putting the radio in traffic or, like I say, be it to and from work or whatever it may be. But they also don't have to choose. At the end of the day, they don't have to choose to listen to the show if it stinks. And, again, at the end of the day, we must sit there and say, okay, or if again, as I said to you, if the one show, two shows, or three shows are doing really great, it's going to also encourage other shows to step up their game. But also, the listener will have some kind of, I say, some kind of trust and faith that the rest of the programming is also really good. If they know that there's a show and a presenter of certain stature and caliber that is present in a lineup, right? Unique content is, well, it can't be duplicated, right, easily, but it is essential, right? And creating a great radio show means you need to find a compelling way to be different. So, again, in class, we're going to start obviously looking at particular angles in life. So, the way that you approach, the way that you see life around you, the way that you speak, two people in conversation, what do you say, the way that you interact with them, the way that you see their value as well, and the value of, again, the elements around you, right? Okay, be it in corporate spaces, be it in community spaces, charity cases, um, or charitable cases, because that might sound a little condescending, relationships, whatever it may be, right? You're going to go and be able to have a little bit of a more creative, more professional, and I don't know, like going to step back and see things from a different point of view, be able to bring in new insights into the way that you see the world. You can connect the world around you um, with better insights at the end of the day. The path to being unique. What is being unique? What does it mean, right? You can't imitate your way to excellence. So in no way, again, we all have people that we look up to because in your growth phase, I suppose, when you are in any capacity, some kind of professional, you would naturally like. I'm going to use, let's say, fitness. Okay, so when you start becoming more serious about fitness and health, you're going to start looking at, people that are succeeding and showing other people what they eat, how they, let's say measure their meals or what exercise they do or how high their, I don't know, their fitness rates are, whatever it is, their fitness routines are, at what capacity. You'll see, for example, I mean, how they use certain techniques to apply themselves to build, I don't know, stronger endurance, whatever it may be. You're going to go look at a professional that knows what they're doing. At the end of the day, as well, here in radio, once you start becoming everyone as we grow up, we listen to radio in one way or another. You might not have listened every single day, and it wasn't like this part of your entire life up to this point, but you have listened to radio and you have chosen to stick to a particular presenter at one or other time. Particular show made you laugh. It educated you. A particular station attracted you there, and you'll have respect. I say at the end of the day, when you do come into radio, automatically, because you have to carve out your own space, right, and your own personality and whatever you say and how you say it and whatever it is. And we talk about compartmentalizing according to the radio hat, etc. Right? You are going to automatically go to your last point of reference. I get that. So what you've heard as being good before, or perhaps you are currently still listening to a particular presenter that you do respect in terms of their work and their quality or whatever it is, their ethics. And then you will start sounding a little bit like them, but that's fine. It should knock off quite quickly. The more you own your own space, but the more you go and aim to sound like somebody else, remember you are always going to be second rate, right? Because there's already somebody that knows how to do that better, much better than you ever will, right? Because they are them and you're not. So don't try to imitate any techniques. Don't imitate personalities. Don't imitate things that might be attractive. So, for example, humor, gestures, mannerisms, whatever it is. I don't know, quirks, as we've spoken about before, even bit construction, the way that they would, let's say, uniquely maybe approach a link or an interview or a throw out. Doesn't matter, right? Don't do that. It's just going to dilute the quality of who you are and what you're doing. So failure is a part of finding what makes you unique. We don't like that word. We don't like the experience at all of failure. And this is lovely as a nice fortune cookie or a chappy paper thing, but it's true. Like you can't identify where to go unless you've lost your way, right? So you lose your way in failure. You've got to sit back and analyze as to what it is, face it, deal with it, and learn from it as a bit of a strength moving forward because it's a lesson learned, right? So change your attitude and approach to failure. Okay, it's not going to be great, but moving past it is a good thing for you, right? Personalities matter when they find their voice that allows them to stand out from the crowds. It is. It really, and it's a good feeling as well. When you've perhaps maybe been locked up, I suppose, maybe it's been purposefully or let's say indirectly, maybe you didn't know you had a voice, right? And maybe you didn't know that you had a louder voice, one that can represent the thoughts and actions and whatever it may be, emotions of other people. And you are, like I said, you got a little bit of an X factor. Man, you're going to feel more at home when you start finding that particular center, that core of where you belong, when you start airing your voice, not your opinion, your voice uh, on a particular platform. It feels like home, right? So they don't mind making mistakes because they aren't protecting an image of what they think they are supposed to be, right? Very important. Making the mistakes is okay. Getting past them is good, but knowing that it isn't a definite, that's also a skill that you need to learn, right? You mustn't have an ego that's going to consume you at the end of the day, because it will be your downfall. Excuse me. Right. No successful personality is an imitation of someone else. They all are originals. Okay, let's play. As I said there, I did throw forward to to Jay-Z, obviously one of my favorite people in the world. Second, please see as it opens up here. Oh, let's start right. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna pause this till I get that. I'm gonna pause the recording. All right, so I found the video. Let me just quickly share that screen, share the sound. We head off here. Yeah, and let's have a look.
Only two things could get you through this, man. That's patience and persistence. We all aspire, we all have the same emotions. You know, no matter who you are, where you from, we all have the same emotions. You know, we all want to be successful. You know, we all have the same fears of failure. We all have, this feelings of abandonment. We all, want love. Have such a strong belief in yourself that you can quiet out all the outside noise, because you're gonna need that on every step of the way. There are people that are projecting their fears and their shortcomings and failures on you. And you have to be very careful, with that. People telling you can't do that. Why can't I? Because they may have tried, or they don't believe that they can do it. And it's not really about you, it's about what they feel and their fear inside. So you have to be strong enough and resilient to believe in whatever it is you're trying to do. My uncle, he was telling me, like, my uncle said I never sold 1 million records. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. Are you crazy? How are you gonna do that? How? I'm sure there's things that I do now that he can't believe that I was able to accomplish. But he couldn't even see it at the time. So he was just projecting, putting his fears on me. That's how we on it. Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it. And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You gotta also look at that. You have to look at that. You gotta look at the environments and places we live in, and how things are set up, and how things are structured, and how we're always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads to, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us. Even our living conditions. You live in a project. Someone lives here, 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 and here. You have to deal with all these different type of personalities. You're in the box. Someone's above you, below you, to the right of you, and to the left of you. And every day you have to manage that circle. So that's like living dormant. Life is about balance, right? You have to have some type of balance. You have time for work and it's time for play. And if you don't allow these two things to coexist, you have an imbalance. People look at you strange saying you changed, like you worked that hard to stay the same. Like you're doing all this for a reason. And what happens most of the time, people change. people change around you because they start treating you different because of your success. So you are changing. You don't change who you are, the core of who you are, the things you believe, the things you love, and the things you die for, and your principles. You don't change that, but you're gonna change who you are. You're gonna change. You know, you can't do the same things that you can't hang on the corner. Be true to yourself. You know, it sounds like a very simple thing to do, but it's not. It's not simple to do with all the pressures to succeed and all the pressures to, once you succeed, to stay there. You have a belief in yourself, and sometimes, in most cases, it's almost a naivete about who you are and what you can contribute to the game. Belief in oneself and knowing who you are, I mean, that's the foundation of everything great.
Everything in life is for your greatest good. No matter how difficult it seems at the time, everything is for your greatest good. It's just clearing you out so you can receive your blessings, even in tough times. Even the tough time is used for us to grow, for us to go through things. So when the good times come, we really appreciate it. But you gotta just believe everything is for your greatest good. And anything you want in life, you just gotta set your intention. When you set your, be that powerful, we're all, every single person in here, we're that powerful as human beings. If you set your intentions and you believe that shit with your whole soul, 100%, it's gonna happen for you, I promise you. And I'm not saying that because I read it in some book, I'm saying that because I'm standing on the stage tonight. I'm from the bottom, I'm from the mud, I'm from Marcy Projects, I'm from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, New York City. And I'm on this stage here tonight doing what I love to do in front of all these beautiful people. And that's because I set my intention. On my first album, I was saying, who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z. I was telling you I was coming. It's the adventure trip, platinum nigga with the Sonic no fade. That nigga with the, I said that.
Hey, isn't it great? So great. Love Jay-Z. Hey, all right. Let's get back to the class. Excuse me. Second. Okay, so some great words there from Jay-Z. I mean, you can get any inspiration from anything if you want and you're looking for it, right? But definitely, some great points that he made there. Me, especially as I said, big fan, and quite like. There's a number of different. Yeah, I'm not going to propagate, but yeah, there's a number of videos Jay-Z has done that are on the same wavelength. Sidebar. Okay, the path to being unique, the starting point, finding that point of difference is the beginning. As I've said to you before, if you can recognize it, you're going to be able to. You have to start there. I know that sounds super obvious, but for us to actually recognize and also accept that we are unique in certain different types of ways, takes a little bit of self-reflection and time. Again, most of us at certain points in our lives can't really or find it a bit difficult to accept that we are a certain way and we have these great things and kind of like build that healthy ego. But as everyone and everything always tells you that these are good things, this is a good thing to do, and it only makes you a stronger individual, right? More confident and obviously more productive, right? And also sound at the end of the day. So make an effort to kind of put some time away over the next, like I say, couple of weeks, and really sit down and start journaling, I suppose, right? Why it is and what it is that makes you so different, right, and unique, and particularly obviously strong and capable and advantageous at the end of the day by applying these particular unique points of yourself, right, and then start living it. So go and accept it and start applying it to the world around you. Great personalities, for example, like Oprah, There's Brad Pitt. Don Anthony says there from the founding, he's the founder of the morning show Boot Camp. Use Brad Pitt in there specifically for me, Oprah, and just because she's so much more prevalent than Brad Pitt. No offense to him, right? But she has a big personality. She's likable, lovable, and she's very human at the end of the day. And at a later point, we're also going to talk about the Oprah phenomenon. So, spoiler, teaser, whatever it is, coming up, right? Oprah. Great personalities are genuine, engaging personalities who are comfortable exposing their very souls on the air without obviously going to private, uncomfortable matters, right? But we want to be able to quite easily and without effort show who we are, right? With no kind of apprehension, no fear, like no conscious, some self consciousness about that. They're not afraid to open up and share feelings, opinions, hopes, fears, and dreams, and they're comfortable in being themselves. Being vulnerable, they're curious with unique observations that cause listeners to say, yeah, me too. I feel that way too, right? Bruce Gilbert, he's an award winning programmer that said that. So let's look. Great personalities have an inherent charisma that attracts people to them. If you can't understand what charisma is not actual attraction, right? It is someone that has charisma people want to be around, right? Because it's the way that they talk to people, the way that they use their words, the way that they harness their personality and being able to create that magnetic attraction to different people, right? Not a specific type of person, but to different people that they encounter, right? I'm not going to say surround themselves with, but encounter. And people like them, right? We want to have these type of people on air because again, you need to attract a listener and make sure that you're building a community. Very natural ability to tell stories, connect with emotions, and know how to harness their own personalities to add to the stories that they are trying to tell. Everyone is born with a personality. Not what you do with it is up to you. So again, you can think of like the most outrageous person versus the most boring person, quote unquote, that you know. Each one of those descriptions is a description of personality. It's a boring personality, still a personality, right? Outrageous, still a personality. Maybe it's the guy or girl that is boring, quote unquote, to you can, kind of harness that and turn that into something turn that something into something that's productive or useful, or whatever it is, or quirky, or whatever it may be. And what boring might be described in one place could be maybe um, dry humor, right? Like a dry personality. That's very, like I said, it's very attractive and quite entertaining for most people. The point is that everyone is a personality at the end of the day. What's obviously, I suppose, it's a bit interesting is that uh, it, you're born uniquely different, right? And I've said this before as well, but we fight our whole lives, us as creatives, right, to really harness that personality, something that you're born with, like from the very get go, you've got it, it's there, it's going nowhere, you can't lose your personality. And we as professionals, creative professionals, like work and work and work and work and work to really amplify and really like let that personality loose to be able to move forward and be more successful in this particular industry. There are thousands of talented personalities relying on natural talent. It's not enough, right? Natural is when you go and you apply skill sets within this particular job and this industry. And then you bundle that up together, and then you have a much better chance. Greatness is never found without passion, of course, right? But it's not possible without a drive to success. Yeah. Oops. All right. So here, just take a bit of a break and look at yourself, right? Um, you know, there's I'll go try and find this. So let's just quickly, for the moment, I'm just gonna take this out here, just in case. I'm just gonna find that document. I hope that I did upload it as well. All right, let me just take this out here. Okay. Uh, right. Okay. All right. How are you know? How are you? Here we go. Let's make more sense. How are you using uh, your brand status? How that makes more sense. Right. Okay. Just for a moment, I might go and make sure that that is available to you, but it's fine. Don't worry about the added material. More importantly here, so sit back and go and take obviously a notebook, divide it up into these particular areas or these subheadings, tapping into your community, making the most of your social media, using transferable skills, creating your own opportunities and networking, and go and analyze yourself and seeing what am I doing in each of these particular points here that are contributing, for example, to my effort in creating a more unique product at the end of the day. So, for example, tapping into your community would be, let's say, community service in some other respect. Do you know about who the community is, what they are saying, what they care about, where they are? Do you go to community events, whatever it may be? Or do you belong to community committees? Making the most of your social media. I think that's quite straightforward. I mean, like, are you applying yourself on social media as a as a content creator using transferable skills? So, for example, if you are someone that does use sound editing software, are you using that skill to go and obviously produce something that helps you as a broadcaster at the end of the day? So it supports you as a broadcaster. A transferable skill could be management, or it could be computer skills. I'm saying end user computing, right? It could also be it could be soft skills at the end of the day that you are using. It must be transferable to building your particular brand and product. You as a brand, creating your own opportunities. So how are you proactively making sure that you are building an active portfolio at the end of the day? And then networking. To what extent have you networked so far? And maybe, obviously, just saying, look, if I'm not active in any of these particular points, I really need to decide, I'm going to make a bit of difference here. And here is you journaling it out, and you're saying to yourself, I need to work on these particular areas because it is going to assist my brand. Uh, like I say, in positives. Great talent makes everything seem easy, but it really isn't. It's a lot of work, right? A lot of work that's being put into the end product at the end of the day, because talent is a measurement of obviously skills and raw talent, right? Like passion as well, drive, dedication. That is what's going to make your job, like I say, your end product, seem very natural, seem very at ease. Almost looks like you didn't prep anything, but you're super prepped. And you've got all these things that are already that you're playing out. You've got these interviews, and you're talking about specific points and playing out the music just perfectly. The show is slick. The product is great. Uh, Only a professional that has a lot of practice and that is in the zone, saying focuses right on what they are doing presently will be able to do it with ease. Greatness is a product of an enormous amount of hard work applied over time. Obviously, you have drive, discipline, dedication, as I just mentioned. You're going to become great. Natural talent is not a prerequisite for success, right? Because talent alone gets you nowhere. If you don't have drive, you don't have initiative, you don't have a proactive personality, um, and you don't understand how to apply what you learn to make this bigger and better, or anything that's tangibly transferable, right, to something that's of great quality. You can sit with the talent all lifelong, and it's going to mean nothing. Right. So greatness is divided into 5 areas: vision, discipline, effort, practice, and courage. Let's look at different aspects, for example, that describe these the subcategories of greatness, or what makes greatness, right? And how you can use some of these. Okay, these are just some examples that breaks it down. So, for example, like in vision, we look at radio is constantly changing. Are you changing to fit the medium and the consumer needs, right? So it's changing in many ways. Obviously, one in terms of formatics, the way that we do radio, what we speak about, how we speak about it. Obviously, technology, right, and influences that the I'm saying our socioeconomic landscape as well influences our radio as a medium is being consumed, where our place is in a listener's life, the importance of the medium itself. So you need to move along with the change and the progress of what radio, where radio is, the medium is. New ideas, new technologies, and new talent consistently coming in. So you need to know that you've got to be ready for new talent challenging your current, I say, comfortable status or state in where you are. If you are on air, know that you're definitely not there for good. At any one point, you can lose that job because you become irrelevant or you are just lazy, work is rubbish, whatever it may be, or people just don't like you because you just haven't worked on that connection. And again, you're living in a world that changes consistently, right? And so you need to be aware that either you are applying these new ideas, applying new technologies, and accept the fact that you are going to have competition on an ongoing basis to be stronger. You can control how you respond to change. So, I mean, we don't. No one likes change. Said that before as well. No one likes change because it makes you uncomfortable. But don't get excited about change. Just know that it's going to happen and then don't let it break you into a million pieces, right? Just move with change because it's inevitable, right? And chaos is inevitable. But you can find order. You can solicit order within chaos. Discipline, for example, arrive early and leave late. Don't come to the show exactly on time. That makes no sense. It shows someone that it's just you're not interested at all. Come to the show early one because you want to be in the right state of mind as well. Not panicked, not rushed, not manic or whatever it is. I think I said manic because I'm referring to myself, right? I can't arrive to a show like 15 minutes before, just because I know my mental state needs to be at ease. Also, like you need to make sure that all your production elements are in place, like your prep is set up in the right place, that you make sure that certain interviews or pieces that you are going to have live on air are still available. These are things that you want to do, like at the station, and leave a little bit later. Don't immediately leave when your show is done. Speak to people, right? And know your team. Show a little bit of interest and again some kind of passion for the place, the station that you work at. More dedications, more desire, right? More dedication equals more desire, and make it a habit. Discipline, make it a habit. At the end of the day, not something that's enforced, an obligation. Just it's better for you as a person, more control of how you are interacting with the world around you, right? In your space within this particular radio station. Effort, the don't feel like factor doesn't it matters to no one. No one cares if you don't feel like it. Well, then why are you here? You have to feel like it. It's your job at the end of the day. And you can, if you don't feel like it, you can cry about it at home, genuinely. And on the way to it, I'm saying to the station of the show, whatever it may be. But once you're there, best you feel like doing your job. You want to commit to a work ethic. So high standards, high quality, high dedication with no validation from, let's say, a boss or somebody else say, oh, you're such a great worker, or we love the fact that you are. I mean, your work is just. I mean, it's professional. It's great. It's a great product, isn't it? No, the work ethic is for you at the end of the day, and that's why you're doing it, right? So details matter. Preparation is everything. Much effort into your show and your product. Practice. Practice is not rehearsing. All of us, again, I speak for myself, we get quickly very rough around the edges very quickly. And it's not that I'm saying you must go be completely again, I'm going to use the word manic, obsessive about sounding good at every single point in the day because it's not calling for that. I mean, you're not, there's no call to action for that. But being able to make sure you are aware, like I'm aware of, let's say, verbal obstacles, right? When I go on air, I best I've warmed up throughout that morning specifically because it doesn't help the night before. Wake up that morning, make sure I drink a lot of water, make sure I particularly always put on uh, Disney songs, right? That I know all the words to, and different accents and different like different characters to kind of warm up that range, of being able to go and lock into my own personality that has enough of a great range to be, I don't know, something attractive on radio, right? So practicing how you speak, practicing your train of thoughts, practicing that line of thought, right? Identifying mistakes and why they happened, right? So lessons learned, analyze results, and adjust to improve. Every single show that you do, you should listen back to, right? Especially when you know something was really great or something was really bad. Okay. And then jot it down, lessons learned, as I said, go ahead and move ahead from that. Have the courage to fail, as we said before, right? Especially when you are trying new things, right? Playing it safe ensures mediocrity, which we really don't care for. You don't want to go through all the effort just so that you did nothing of value. And believing in your own publicity, as we've said before, it's just a road to nowhere at the end of the day, right? Because you're not bigger than the product, and you never will be bigger than your listener, right? The importance of. So, Alan Burns conducted an external study comparing traits of the most prominent morning shows in America. The study investigated many types of personalities in various formats, both current and past. Each show was a winner in their market with many years of consistent performance. There we go. That's it. Just dedicate to consistency in quality. And the startling discovery is that regardless of the format, station, market, or shows, they shared this common behavior, consistent performance, right? And consistency in the quality of what you are doing is what will result in actual success. So if we're going to take starting points of greatness, there's a couple of behavioral notes here. The first one is leadership. So I'm going to take a sip of water. So the first one is leadership. You can be a leader in your own, I say direct, I'm saying line of sight. So, for example, with your team, you can also be a leader within I'm saying the station space, but taking initiative to know how to change something, again, proactively make your product better, um, is also a form of leadership, right? Leading yourself and your product right down a better road, more fruitful, and again, quality driven road. The best talent direct their staff, placing each in a role that increases the value of their contribution, right? So they keep everyone in character, focused on the show, never making anyone feel like they're less than just because they are on traffic or they are a contributor or they're a producer or just a desk operator or whatever it is. If you are the main attraction, quote unquote, of your show with a team, everybody is there because everybody is important. And the more you can capitalize on those particular talents and the qualities of those particular talents that are surrounding you, man, that show is going to be great, right? Okay. Um, so, second one is role definition. Analyze analyze most successful shows. What you're going to hear are different people doing their job correctly, right? So one person is not stepping over like a sports presenter is not trying to be a news presenter, and a news presenter is not trying to, let's say, be a co-host, right? If there is a co-host already, I'm saying. So everyone knows their role and everyone's very confident in what they do. They don't feel what is it, threatened by someone else's quote unquote personality or presence. They know their spot, they know their lane, and they're super fine with that. So even if you are surrounded by someone who doesn't or isn't there, right, let them go on, and genuinely they're going to come to like a dead end in terms of that, and they're going to fizzle out at some other point because you're going to seem desperate at one point. You're going to seem disruptive as well. The listener's going to be like, why are you talking? Let's say, or why are you trying to be somebody else when there is somebody else already on the show that does that, right? Or we know you in one role, and you're not giving us that role. You're trying to give us something else, right? And we can immediately think of many people that fill this particular description, right? And it kind of is a cringe factor. When interesting characters contribute meaningful content through a unique point of view, about uniqueness, audiences love that synergy that moves around a show. Distinct roles create natural opportunities for entertainment. Let's look at behavior. Number three, interesting perspectives, right? The more you are immersive in the world around you, right? You're interested in the world around you, like you read a lot and you know a lot, right? You watch a lot, whatever it may be, right? And you talk to the world around you, interact with the world around you, gives you an interesting perspective on what it is that you are talking about. So, best content is really obviously the construction of good angles, right? But really is pulled through at the end because of the person that has a good understanding and a really interesting, fresh perspective to offer to this particular piece that they are busy with, right? So, creating content begins with gathering relevant material. An exceptional talent will then go find a good perspective, a good angle, double angle, triple angle, doesn't matter, right? Depending on what they know already is kind of the talk of the town. In other words, what most people already are very aware that are talking about, they have their opinions on. You want to go an extra level, you want to springboard off that, kind of elevate, right? Pivot. Whenever every personality talks about the same topic, great personalities find a way to actually stand out from the crowd. And topics fell when nobody actually cares because already they do know about this. It's not relevant to them. You're not saying anything new, or it's really just plain old boring, right? Okay. And so a careful selection of what it is that you do and how you do it, with putting a little bit of effort into your work, some passion and pride, right, it's going to get you a long way. Buzz generators, right? Behavior number four, performing some stunts, not every single day. You want to be able to know that you could, again, kind of like spike that interest in your show, right? At any one given point, sure, but sometimes it does require being a little bit out there. Putting listeners uh, maybe in an awkward situation, not a dangerous one. However, uh, buzz is short term, so it's a short term focus on shocking, exciting, thrilling, naughty, I suppose, and perhaps to some perspective or extent, maybe not exactly what you should have done, but um, but you're doing it anyway. As we said before, you need to take those risks. Winning personalities appeal to a wide range of emotions, and buzz happens when personalities do make it this very, very unique and impactful connection with a listener at a very high level of emotion. Moves them, have a great moment on air, a wow moment, a magic moment, right? So buzz happens naturally when personalities succeed in making that moment special. Nearly done. Last one is benchmarks, right? Behavior number five. Strong link to greatness is being known for something. So you become known for something by establishing awareness through benchmarks. Benchmarks are your features, personality traits that people get to know on a daily basis, your viewpoints that are very unique to you, right? And interesting to them, right? But all of these help the audience remember, relate, and lock themselves into like the like I said, the ecosystem of you and your show. All right. So for yourself. Kid Craddock's series of one. You need to be able to do one thing per quarter hour that commands attention. So every 15 minutes, something that commands attention from the listener. 1 item in every hour that causes or commands for response. So a call to action. One thing a day that is shareable. Maybe not to social media, but also shareable with another person, right? One thing every 3 months, record in the year that listeners will remember for the longest time, right? And then one thing per year that makes you legendary. I want you to go think about that and think, oh, well, these ones might be a little bit easy. But these ones, man, take a lot of thought, a lot of, let's say, observation, a lot of planning, and a lot of impromptu magic talent, right? Uniqueness to get right. So that is a lesson. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next week.